All right, y'all, we got Speakeasy. Mahomes is the MVP favorite. Is Baker being disrespected? Let's go ahead and check this out.
Talk about everyone's favorite discussion during the NFL season, the MVP race. And as of right now, today, October
Did see those odds, and that's actually crazy.
14th, 2025, Patrick Mahomes.
Now, I understand why they got him first, because maybe they're projecting. This is a projection. But if you look at where the NFL is at right now, if we ended the season today, Baker is clearly in the lead. Baker is, if the season ended today, Baker is the MVP.
Is shocking. The MVP favorite.
This was shocking.
This is crazy. He's first above Josh Allen, who's in second, and then Baker Mayfield in third, followed up with Matthew Stafford around fourth.
Can I tell you why this conversation holds so much weight to me? You just now know this. I've said it a couple times. Y'all might just be realizing this. So I'm an MVP voter. There are 50 of us that have been hand-selected by the AP committee, Associated Press Committee, and I am an MVP voter. I get cussed out by Baltimore Ravens fans still to this day because last year I voted for Josh Allen. The reason this is so shocking to me is because Baker Mayfield should currently be the front runner for MVP. I fully understand what Patrick Mahomes has done with his team, but the fact still remains the Kansas City Chiefs are sitting at 3-3. Baker Mayfield is sitting at 5-1. Baker Mayfield has led 4 game-winning touchdown drives. Baker Mayfield has beat legitimate opponents. Baker Mayfield has won in every single way, form, and fashion. And even the game that Baker Mayfield lost against the Philadelphia Eagles, he kept his team alive and kept his team fighting. So shout out to Patrick Mahomes for keeping the Chiefs at 500, albeit they've had offensive line issues, albeit Rashid Rice and Xavier Worthy have missed time. But the fact that Baker Mayfield is not number one is still kind of shocking to me. And in all honesty, if I can be for really real, I think there's a little bit of bias to it. I think there's some bias to the fact that Mahomes is Mahomes. We don't see Baker Mayfield as an MVP. We can't envision Baker Mayfield as an MVP. And as a result, people do not want to give Baker the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, I mean, I can't see him as an MVP either. It doesn't sound right that Baker Mayfield is leading the MVP race. But through 6 weeks, he is. I'm going to take more of the LaShawn Shady McCoy take on this. It's 6 weeks. It's not the full season.
I got away from Shady
You got to be
today.
able to see the whole thing. And the thing is, even though they have a 3-3 start, the Chiefs are now rolling offensively. And Patrick Mahomes is a huge reason why. He's leading the league in touchdowns now. They look as good as ever on the offensive side of the ball. They look like they're figuring it out. And now it makes sense. This is a projection for the entire season. The MVP is not won after 6 weeks of the NFL season.
Of course. But here's the
that's what I'm assuming the reason why the voting, not the voting, but the odds are where they at. They're just projecting by the end of the season, But yeah, we all know Baker's playing at MVP level right now, for sure.
dilemma is oftentimes voters are human. That's why I so much love this responsibility of being a voter, because now I fully understand how these things happen. And don't get it twisted, these awards matter. Josh Allen had a $1 million bonus in his contract, if I'm not mistaken, for winning an NFL MVP. So these conversations that we're having, that y'all are watching right now, aren't just flippant conversations. Like, careers are made and broken based upon these conversations. Players will go into the Hall of Fame or not go into the Hall of Fame. Your favorite player might get a gold jacket or not because of literally this conversation that we're having. That's how important it is. Here's why I am frustrated with the likes of Mahomes being the front runner right now. Voters, listen. Not all voters watch as much tape as I do. Today, right before the show, I'm watching Josh Allen Atlanta Falcons tape just to see what happened in that game. And it was actually revealed to me, Josh Allen just played like trash. Like, some receivers didn't get open, but the Falcons were rushing 6 people, and Josh just played like trash. Not all voters are actually watching tape. They're listening to, FanDuel has Patrick Mahomes as a favorite, so he must be the favorite. As opposed to, like, actually didactically breaking things down.
That's actually crazy, bro. Like, I think for MVP voters, like, there needs to be like a checks and balance system. Just like how they can keep track of NFL players watching film, they need to do the same thing with MVP voters, because that, like, you snub people out of very deserved awards. I think Lamar should have won the last year. It is what it is. But, due to hearsay, what you're hearing, you're probably not even watching closely enough. You're just listening to narratives.
Conceptually breaking things down based upon film, breaking things down. And so when you hear all year long, it's got to be Mahomes. It's got to be Mahomes. No Rashid Rice, no Xavier Worthy.
It's crazy, though, that he's saying this and he voted for Josh Allen. Now, again, to each his own. Whoever felt like Josh should have been MVP last year, he won it. Shout out to Josh. I like him. But just looking at the season individually, the Ravens quarterback had a better season.
No Chris Godwin? What about no Mike Evans? What about no Bucky Irving? What about no Emeka Buka for last game? Like, what about all of those? No. What about the fact that Baker Mayfield and this Bucs offense are absolutely rolling right now, winning games on the road, winning games at home? What about all of that?
Yeah, I think that's an interesting case right now. Out of all of those quarterbacks, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes are the guys that you would expect to turn it up towards the later end of the season, especially with the Bills coming off of 2 losses and the Chiefs having a slow start. But Baker Mayfield is the one that gets the most weapons back out of this entire situation. Yeah. Sorry, the Bills, they're going to have to trade for A.J. Brown. I pray you do. Please take A.J. Brown away from the Eagles. But the Bills are going to have to trade for a wide receiver to be able to get more talent around him.
Yeah.
The Chiefs, they're waiting for Rashee Rice to get back, and now you're starting to see, even after Xavier Worthy came back, they're starting to roll a whole lot more because they have field stretchers. Him and Tyquan Thornton have been incredible. But I think, like you said, Baker Mayfield gets Mike Evans back later. Yeah. Chris Godwin back to go along and Emeka Buka back. And they're going to be a problem.
The fact that Baker's been able to keep his team this good while those players have been gone, that's what matters. Because Patrick Mahomes, I do think he'll make a legitimate MVP push as the season goes on. Remember, Mahomes has this team at 3-3. If the Chiefs mess around and go 12-5, mess around and go 13-4, mess around and go 11-6, all of a sudden we'll be looking back and say, wait a second, this Chiefs defense wasn't great. Mahomes did this by himself. If Mahomes finishes the season with 40, 45 total touchdowns, that's a conversation that we really will have to have.
Yeah, no, I mean, you speak about the favoritism that Mahomes and Allen have amongst the MVP voters. Odds also dropped today for Super Bowl, and the leaders were the Kansas City Chiefs and Buffalo Bills, followed by the Green Bay.
Interesting. I can see the Chiefs in there. I'm surprised the Eagles not up here. That's interesting. They got the Lions with better odds than the Eagles. And the Packers. And the Bills. My favorites right now are probably our Chiefs, Eagles. Those are my favorites. But to each his own. To each his own. Jackson should have been MVP last year. And honestly, Baker after that, his play was way more impressive than Josh, given Baker's team was riddled with injuries last year too. He still balled out. I'd have to look at Baker's numbers from last year, but I know Josh played good, but for me it was just statistically Josh put up numbers that we've seen before. We've never seen a quarterback put up 4K passing yards, being as efficient as Lamar was with how many rushing yards he put up, which I think was about 800. I just never seen it before. So I kind of felt like he should have got it. And they both had winning records. So if y'all both got winning records, well, I'm just giving it to the guy who had the better individual season. You know, y'all both made it to the playoffs. All right, well, but you know, to each his own. So you a Bills hater though.
Packers and Detroit Lions, then followed by the Eagles and the Rams. This doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever.
You know what this speaks to, though? This speaks to how much parity is in the league right now. Now, I do not know why you have a team like the Rams there, and the reason being is the Rams.
I think the Rams like that. They got potential to cook in the playoffs.
Haven't looked good for 3 consecutive weeks. You know, they beat the Baltimore Ravens, didn't look good. 3 weeks ago, they lost to the Philadelphia Eagles, they didn't look good. They lost to the San Francisco 49ers in overtime, they didn't look good.
Number one, Eagles still a competitive squad. Still one of the better teams in the league, roster-wise. Niners, cooking this year. You know what I mean? So, I mean, them not looking good against them too. You can argue me with the Ravens. After the Ravens got whooped by the Texans, I would assume they make some adjustments. So, you know, I don't know, man. I'm taking all that with a grain of salt.
So I think we just have the Rams there because of Matthew Stafford, because of Sean McVay. The Chiefs should be there. Yeah. They deserve to be there. They've earned the right to be there. I can tell you this, though, right now. Unless the Buffalo Bills figure out their offensive woes and unless they get Josh Allen help, ain't no reason for them to be there either. Yeah. Ain't no reason.
I guess the question is here, like, are you confident that the AFC still runs through the Chiefs? How many times? Like, obviously we know Patrick Mahomes every year of his starting.
I still feel like the Rams, once they get in the playoffs, again, because same thing, Chiefs are having their struggles here and there throughout the season so far. Eagles having their struggles here and there throughout the season so far. But I think once we get to the playoffs, the Eagles they're gonna be straight. I think that's a competitive squad come playoff time. I think Rams come playoff time, competitive squad. You know what I mean? everybody's having their struggles right now. Like there's nobody that looks flawless. So it's like everybody gets a little bit of grace, but there are those handful of teams that I think once they get to the playoffs, we're gonna see some good football. Got a 96. Congratulations on the test, my boy. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Super Bowl gonna be Packers or Chiefs for AFC and Lions for NFC. Packers in the NFC. Chiefs is in the AFC. NFC kind of tough. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, AFC's tough too, but NFC is a little bit tougher.
Career
tougher
has gone to the AFC Championship at worst.
Yeah.
Does that continue this year? It looks like early on, Chargers were going to be testing them.
Yep.
Maybe the Broncos get hot and whatnot. Now it looks like, oh, it's the Chiefs. To
It's
lose.
absolutely the Chiefs. But the reason is, like, you got to step on the Chiefs like one of them roaches and make sure they're dead. And y'all know what type of roaches I'm talking about, depending on where you grew up. Like, the Chiefs are the type of team that when you have them on the ground, kill them. If you let these Kansas City Chiefs into the playoffs, who gonna stop them? Daniel Jones, Trevor Lawrence, Justin Herbert. Like, who's going to stop Patrick Mahomes once he gets into the playoffs? I do not see a team being able to stop Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid once they get into the playoffs. Bo Nix, Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Who's going to stop that team? So for me, everything still runs through the Chiefs. Y'all have to make sure if you want to win the Super Bowl that you don't even let the Chiefs buy a ticket to the playoffs. That's what you have to do.
Yeah, they're getting a ticket to the playoffs, though. Come on, let's be real. Let's be real. They're going to the playoffs.
Can the Broncos or Chargers not do anything about it in your mind?
No. Even if, I mean, like, wild card situation, you're not beating out the Chiefs for a wild card spot. Like, no, this is not. This is Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. Last thing, keeping the Chiefs, Rashee Rice served a 6-game suspension.
Yeah.
My boy finally free Rice until it's backwards. It's finally backwards. He's going to be eligible to play this Sunday against the Raiders. How big of a deal is his
defense?
Gigantic.
I trust the Chiefs defense. Like, they got some iffy spots here and there. You could probably say like an outside corner, but those dudes do show up sometimes when required. But outside of that, though, this is, for the most part, when you look at the front seven, this is the same defense that they've had through all these Super Bowls. When you look at the front seven, so like they're fine there. Secondary, little questions, but I feel pretty comfortable with the Chiefs defense.
And tick. If you thought the Chiefs were making a comeback with Xavier Worthy, Rashee Rice is what makes that whole system go. Rashee Rice he works through the middle of the field. Xavier Worthy, he stretches a field. Like, Rashee Rice is going to come back, and the Chiefs are instantly going to catapult themselves into an additional touchdown or an additional 10 points a game. And not only that, he has fresh legs. You know what I mean? Like, nobody's healthy at this point into the season. Usually at this point into the season, you've already played 4 or 3 preseason games, plus you've already played about 6 regular season games. So players got 9 games on their legs. Rashee Rice is coming in, and he healthy, y'all. He fresh. He the dude who's walking into that workout at the end. When you got your workouts with your gym, and they coming in 20 minutes in, and you've already finished one round. Like, he's coming in so fresh. So I think this automatically makes the Chiefs the best team in the AFC.
Yeah, I mean, I think they were that way anyway. After getting Xavier Worthy back, the offense has looked completely different. We do have a couple of super chats about this.
Talk to me.
Jonathan Henry said, "How is Patrick Mahomes #1 LMAO?" Doesn't make sense. And then we also had another one from Jonathan Henry. Patrick cost them the game against the Jags with the pick 6. Yes, yeah, that was a momentum shift.
Here's why I hate Mahomes being #1. Because if y'all remember when Lamar Jackson won the MVP, it was 2 years ago. Lamar was the favorite over Brock Purdy, though Brock Purdy had played.
Appreciate you, Corey. Another one. Thank you for the sub, brother. Appreciate you. Right there, every player picked up off season for it. Yeah, man, trying to.
Better up until that point. Now, we saw them play one another, and Lamar outplayed Brock Purdy. Then we moved Lamar Jackson ahead. But we cannot continue to live off of this name recognition bias. At the end of the day, Baker Mayfield
wait. What did you say?
Purdy, though Brock Purdy
was a momentum shift.
Here's why I hate Mahomes being #1. Because if y'all remember when Lamar Jackson won the MVP, it was 2 years ago. Lamar was the favorite over Brock Purdy, though Brock Purdy had played better up until that point. Now, we saw them play one another, and Lamar outplayed Brock Purdy. Then we moved Lamar Jackson ahead. But we cannot continue to live off of this name recognition bias. You know, like, at the end of the day, Baker Mayfield is outplaying Patrick Mahomes right now. Baker should be in front right now. Now, if you want to suggest that Mahomes will end up being best when it's all said and done, by all means. But I do not like when you just go off resume, bro. It's like when somebody comes out with an album and the album ends up being a hit and you're like, but have you actually listened to the tracks? The songs are trash, but you're just buying it off the reputation of the artist. Now, Mahomes obviously hasn't been trash.
I don't know. Brock Purdy. Brock was playing like statistically at an MVP caliber level. I don't know what year that was. Maybe that was one of Lamar's MVP years, but he was statistically playing at MVP caliber level. But I guess wrapping this conversation up, Mahomes is not the MVP favorite right now. I think he's in the conversation, and I think this conversation changes week by week, but he's not it right now. Because, again, Herbert was in that conversation, then Josh Allen was the favorite, and then now Baker's the favorite. Again, I still think Stafford is in that conversation. I think Pat is in that conversation. So, you know, we're gonna see by the end of the season. And the Super Bowl favorites for me, again, it's the Chiefs and Eagles. That's my favorites to go back. But again, all of this could change. You know, the teams that look good right now might not look good in 4 to 6 weeks. That's just the reality. That's just how football works, bro. We see this stuff every year, every 2 years. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Appreciate y'all for watching. Subscribe, stay tuned, stay blessed.